Hi, everybody. I'm here with my wonderful friend Robert Holden to talk about his upcoming new class on higher purpose in the Enneagram. And I am thrilled about that. I'm thrilled. And I'm thrilled that just to be sharing a little bit of with the class with Robert because it's such a pleasure. And now I'm going to turn it over to Robert so he could tell you about the class.
Thank you, Caroline. Yes, we are inviting you to our third Enneagram course in the Parallel Reflections series here at the CMED Institute. Our first course was Spiritual Growth and the Enneagram, and we gave you 10 action-packed classes on how to work with the Enneagram to support you on your spiritual path. The second class was Love and the Enneagram, and we offered you 10 soul meditations on love as a spiritual path, love as your holy purpose, and love as the heart of activism. And we had a great response from our students, some who were encountering the Enneagram for the first time, and many of whom were long-time students who wanted to go deeper. And that's the beauty, really, of the Enneagram. It meets you where you are, and it's always fresh, and it's available to every student everywhere. We had a great time teaching together, so we're doing it again. And this time we're going to be teaching on purpose and the Enneagram. And why purpose in the Enneagram? Why now? Well, I think firstly, life purpose is a perennial subject. It's the focus for every wisdom tradition, every school of philosophy, every model of psychology, and every spiritual path. It's also, of course, of universal interest. Everybody everywhere is interested in living a life with purpose. It's also so very relevant for right now. You know, given the state of the world, it's obvious that more than ever before, more and more of us are crying out for more inspiration, vision, direction, meaning, and purpose. Another good reason to be working with purpose in the Enneagram at this time is that I have a new book out called Higher Purpose: How to Find More Inspiration, Meaning, and Purpose in Your Life. And I had this idea that for this class, we could bring together higher purpose with one of my favorite books, Sacred Contracts. And by bringing them together, we could really explore what the Enneagram has to say about helping us fulfill our sacred contract on earth, have a greater experience of higher purpose, and really fulfill our divine assignment here on the planet at this time. So that's the thinking. And so the Enneagram, what is the Enneagram? Well, the Enneagram is both ancient and modern. The Enneagram is one of the oldest self-awareness tools, if you like, on the planet, dating back 2,500 years old. Its origins are in the esoteric schools of ancient Egypt and Greece, and they're based upon the philosophy of Plato and Aristotle, the sacred mathematics of Plato, and they've been developed further by the Desert Fathers and the Desert Mothers in the 3rd century, and on it goes. There are 9 points on the Enneagram, and each of these points are a meditation seat, a place to engage in spiritual contemplation and intimate conversations on the most pressing issues of the day. And the Enneagram also offers 9 lenses through which to engage in deep inquiries on key subjects like spiritual growth, love, and this time purpose. So that's what we'll be working with. And we'll be using the Enneagram to support us in our spiritual journey. But more than that, I think in really being up for saying yes to living a life of purpose, now more than ever before. So on that note, Caroline, it'd be lovely just to get some thoughts from you about
You know
our
what occurred
forthcoming
to me?
journey.
What occurred to me while you were talking is there is a natural, I'd say, an archetypal instinct and a spiritual instinct in us to always wonder what the meaning of everything is,
Hmm.
even down to, I wonder how come only 2 people showed up. 2. We wonder about the meaning of numbers. Why did 3 of this happen? Why did 4 of that? they'll say things like, it comes in threes. Bad luck comes in threes. Good. We are always Enneagramming somehow, and we don't even realize. You know, I mean, because we look at the universe is fundamentally a mathematical place.
Yeah.
And so, and it is, numbers are, mathematics is one of the languages of God. It is orderly. It doesn't belong to anyone. It's simply the construct. And so the fact that there is a tool of divination, a tool of understanding the cosmic meaning of numbers and how we fit into it, is what is so rich about the Enneagram. So why don't you take everybody through a quick view of what this great class looks like?
For sure. Absolutely. And I love what you said. Plato said that God geometrizes the universe.
Totally.
Yeah. And that everything ultimately has something to do with numbers. If a universal law is truly universal, then it's backed by higher mathematics.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I'm devoted to Pythagoras.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I fell in love with the power of numbers when I encountered Pythagoras. So
yeah. So let's talk about what the Enneagram's trying to do for us. I think the first thing to do is the Enneagram's here to help us realize our true potential, or if you like, as you've got in your subheading here to sacred contracts, awakening to your divine potential. The Enneagram will support us on a path of individuation. This is Carl Jung's term, individuation. Individuation, according to Carl Jung, is how we connect our limited self with our unlimited self. And the goal, essentially, of life and of the Enneagram is to help us to experience anthropos, which is to be fully human and fully divine. Now, the Enneagram is also going to support us in our growth and also in experiencing a metanoia. This is a Greek word for transformation. And so your metanoia is when your ego, which you want thought of as your identity, becomes an instrument. It becomes an instrument for a greater presence, a higher power, and a universal purpose. And instead of thinking of your ego as your identity, you now see it more as an instrument, and you begin to live a guided life like Arjuna did. And you begin to receive wisdom like Moses did, and you experience enlightenment like Siddhartha did, and you become anointed like Jesus did, and you become blessed as Muhammad was blessed as well. And along the way, you are fundamentally learning to live a meaning-filled life, a purposeful life. Caroline, in your book, Sacred Contracts, you said it is your birthright to discover your sacred contract. It will guide you to find your divine destiny. And I think that's what essentially the Enneagram helps us with. So we will have 10 live classes on our journey, and we will walk around the circle of the Enneagram. In the first class, we'll do an overview of the original purpose of the Enneagram and how to work with it. And then after that, we'll have 9 classes, and each class will cover one of the 9 points on the Enneagram and one of the 9 types of the Enneagram. Let's just take a little look at the symbol that we'll be working with, because this symbol is our map for the journey. In each class, I'll speak for around about 60 minutes, and Caroline will then offer spiritual reflections and guidance for us. This is going to be really, really practical, by the way. So this isn't just spiritual entertainment. This is a course where you are going to be given all sorts of inquiries and exercises to work with. But essentially put, as you can see at point 1 on the Enneagram, we're going to be looking at the greater good and this idea that we are made for a mission and that we are here to perform a good deed on behalf of the whole. At point 2, we're going to be exploring your spiritual charism, the gift that you are here to share with the world. It's not your gift so much as a gift that was given to you, and it's given to you so that you do share this gift with the world. At point 3, we're going to look at the great work that you are called to participate in at this point in your life, and indeed in the evolution of humanity. What is that great conversation happening in the world that you want to be part of? At point 4, we're going to look at something called the 4 paths. This is very much inspired by the wonderful work of Matt Fox and creation spirituality. At 5, we'll be looking at living an inspired life. Anybody who is living a purpose-led life has identified their chief point of inspiration, and they stick close to this inspiration. You know, right now in the world, it's like there are 900 channels of entertainment that we can watch every night, but hardly any of those channels offer us anything that's truly inspiring. We have to make a choice between, do we want to be entertained or do we want to be inspired? More than ever before, we must sign up for inspiration. At point 6, we're going to follow the golden thread. At 7, we'll say yes to the bigger plan. At 8, we'll surrender to the higher purpose. And then at 9, we're going to be looking at our sacred activism. What is our sacred activism for our life and in the world at this time? At each point, we're going to be working with inquiries and deepening exercises to help you recognize your purpose, to remove inner blocks, to bust some of those sort of common myths about purpose, but also ultimately to help you live what I call a purpose-centered life. That's our journey ahead of us. It's action-packed, and I'm really looking forward to it, Caroline.
What my comment, and I have several, but I'll limit it to this because we have just a message here for others, is that I know from my own work is that people are drawn to seek, for what reason am I here? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? And that question is answered in layers, like a layer cake, you know. And the first is always they think it's occupational, because we are driven by this idea of a practical God, not realizing that the universe is a mystical place, not a practical place. And therein lies the conflict between, I need practical, you know, I need the answers to my prayers to be practical. I need practical. I need, it has to be. And I think if, in using tools like this, you get through, it affords you an opportunity to think differently about this idea that everything has to be financially based, legally based, logical, safe, that is in fact the opposite of how higher purpose plays itself out. It is a high risk journey. It is finding the riskiest part of yourself. It is finding the way that you embrace how the invisible world can come in as in an allyship position.
Yeah. I'm so excited to hear you speak like this. And I think purpose has to be a revelation, actually.
Yeah.
You can't just say, hey, my purpose is to work in this bank or something. It's much more than that. And we have to give it, the time and attention that this inquiry deserves, because as you say, it's nuanced, isn't it?
Right. I mean, human beings are your companions for safe travel on the earth. But when you want to find your cosmic nature, you need cosmic holy companions.
Beautiful. I'm super excited.
So,
It feels like it's time to answer the call. We all know about the call, and I think more than ever before, we need people living a purpose-centered life. I think the future of humanity depends on it, quite frankly.
I think
It's
the
up to,
present of
yeah,
humanity
and it's up to each and every one of us to answer this call. And I just feel that what we're going to be offering here is the most relevant offering we could be making right now. And I'm super excited to do this journey with you,
I
Caroline.
think it's brilliant. I think you've put together a gorgeous class, and it's a privilege to teach with you once again. And I am very much looking forward to it. What are the dates?
Well, we start November 7th, and we'll be doing 2 classes per week. As before, they are recorded. Join us live, please, but they are recorded so you can watch them at your convenience.
Right.
But I think it's going to be like a super focused month of classes,
Right.
10 classes in all. What a journey. And I think it's going to set us up for a brilliant end of year and a brilliant beginning of a new year too.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope all of you will join us as before. The classes with Robert are just delicious. So thank you. I look forward to this, Robert. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. See you there.